having me. What I'm going to do, hoping to do in this session, is just tell you about the study I'm doing, which is a multimodal study, looking at and also tell you about the tool, what's revealed, and some reflections on using the tool. So the study is all about the positioning of EAP in universities and EAP practitioners. So I'm looking at two case studies, one in a post-1992 university and the other in a Russell Group University. And I'm interviewing, I've got 39 participants so far, and all of them I'm using an interview with a spatial storytelling activity, which combines talk with an image, creation of an image. So what I'm hoping to do is demonstrate that. So if you are able to get a pen and paper ready, you have a chance to try that out yourself. Okay, so what is spatial storytelling? Well, it's a visual research method which allows participants to tell stories about their past, their current experiences and future plans, and also enables them to map where they see their position in the university. So it results in a map, which is obviously an image, and also some spoken narrative, which can be analysed along with the map. So the inspiration was a project by Kate Carruthers-Thomas, who is based in Birmingham, and she did a project on genders at work, which looked at the positioning of university lecturers in the university according to their gender, and she used this tool, which I'm kind of using which I use as my main inspiration. And these are the images that she used with the tool. So the tool is used within an interview, about 2/3 of the way through. And so we did the activity about way through the interview, and then I asked some questions. So what I'm going to do is demonstrate that tool to you, if you bear with me, without the questions. Okay, so have you got a piece of paper and a pen handy? Okay, so first of all, take a piece of paper and draw a shape which best represents the university for you. Then think about your position in the university and the positions of EAP and also yourself, and first of all, add EAP to the map. Thirdly, think about your own position in the university and add that to the map. And then think of the links that you have or that EAP has. They could be internal links within the university and external, national and international links, and draw them on the map. Okay, so I haven't given you much time because we've got time constraints, but you may have made a start on all of those things. So what does all that mean? So what I'm going to be doing in the project is analysing the maps and the talk around the maps using the theories of Doreen Massey. Now, you might not have heard of her, but this is a picture of her. So she was a human geographer and was based at the Open University. She was influenced by Karl Marx and was an expert with focused on feminist geography, space, place, social theory. Now, Kate Carruthers-Thomas used her theories, and it led me to her when I was looking at this project. And I found her concepts really valuable when looking at EAP in university. So I'll just go on to some of her concepts before we start looking at the maps which I've been gathering as part of the project. So her main concepts that I'm interested in are about space and place. So for her, space was the product of interrelations, interactions between countries, between people, organizations. She also thought of space in terms of time and emphasized that time and space are very connected, and as space is fluid, it changes all the time. And place is where all of these interactions and social relations come together, and where they have links to the outside, which give them their unique identity. So, for instance, I'm based in Durham. The space of Durham is connected to places, all over the world through the university and to the northeast, to London, etc. And all of these connections give Durham its identity. So in terms of the EAP world could be thought of as a space with all its connections and differences across the world. And this comes together in a place, in a university, and in an EAP unit. Activity space is a way of looking at the social relations and the activities of individuals. So each individual might have its activity space, and the EAP unit might have its activity space. And all of these interconnect together and influence each other. She had a concept called thrown togetherness, which represents how, as things come together in one place, everything has to kind of exist together. So you have thrown together places, like an EAP unit, for instance, can be complex, unique, messy sometimes, but also creative. So thinking about an EAP unit in a university, you have people coming in from lots of different backgrounds, trajectories, and it creates, and it's in its own particular context, and it creates a very unique unit within the university. And the final thing I just wanted to talk about was power geometry, that each place has a geography of power within it. So within a university, you have obviously like the VC, you have other people of power within university, and people's connection or people's position in relation to that power gives them agency or gives them different affordances to act and to make decisions within the university. I mean, she had many more concepts, but these are the main ones that I've been thinking about in the project. So let's go on to the maps. What I'm going to do is show you some of the maps which have come up so far, and I'll try and work through, as we look at them, we'll look at the how Massey fits into that. So here are some of the maps, which don't really look like maps. As you see, they're very different. And each one of these maps can be considered as an activity space. They represent where people work and how they connect to each other, to different places. So first of all, I just want to look at links and connections. On your maps, you will have seen, I've asked you to put links and connections in. Here, one of these maps shows the connections between between the EAP unit here and different academic departments. It shows how these green dotted lines represent one-way links, so links which are not very strong, and these other yellow links are much stronger links within the university. This map or drawing shows links in different stages of development. So you have these plants which are developed, and then some places, these are the windows represent departments. These have not got links. So for me, this emphasizes, so this is a place of loose ends and missing links. This emphasizes for me, the potential of new links and new connections and activity in the university. Then we have power relations. So this here we have a university where this is the power, which is called the power in the map, which is really useful. And the connection to the power gives the EAP unit, which is over here, the different affordances. This might change during different times. So during COVID, this EAP might have got closer to the power because of different activities to do with putting some EAP online. Then we've got position identity. So here we have, this might be, when I was doing the exercise, sometimes people drew these maps and were thinking geographically of the university, but sometimes it's more metaphorical as well. So here we are, that this is both geographic, I think, influence and metaphoric. And we see this, this is like a thrown together place where it's made up of individuals, links, and Massey was very keen to emphasize that a place isn't constructed by placing boundaries around it, but by creating links with other people and having openness and porous boundaries. So this would encourage collaboration, more links within the university, and working together. And then we have individual identity. We have this person here who's straddling between the academic department and EAP, which gives him, makes him into a useful asset in the university because he can kind of bring those insights from the academic department into EAP and the other way around. So you might, looking at your maps, you may find that some of these things kind of resonate with you, and may be able to see how close you are to the power, how your identity relates to EAP and different places, and how much what you can bring into EAP. So some reflections. I'm aware that we've got 5 minutes left. Firstly, doing this kind of activity, I think it's fun and social. Arlene was talking about laughter before, and there was a lot of laughter when we were doing the activity. Even people who thought they couldn't draw before or thought that this one wasn't for them really enjoyed doing it. Because people were given a blank sheet of paper, they had agency, they could be really creative while they were doing it. So it brought out their ideas and creative, they were free to express themselves. I think putting things on paper gives a different way of seeing things. So we were talking about position, which we read about a lot, but we're actually seeing it on a page, on a piece of paper. And it enables us to see things in a different way. We can talk about how close we are to the power, but actually seeing how thinking about the distances between us and between us and the VC's office, whatever, and actually seeing it on the paper, it kind of really emphasizes things in a new way. Often it makes visible what is invisible. So you kind of I found that we were kind of people were downloading their thoughts almost onto the paper, thinking things which they hadn't really thought of before, and enable them to step back and reflect, because and almost having a conversation with the map. So this is a quote from one of the participants. She found it really useful to reflect, and it encouraged her actually to see that she had more connections than she thought she did have. So obviously this was done as part of a research project, but I thought it strikes me that it might be quite a useful thing for practitioners as well. It first of all creates a record of people's perceptions of their positionality, their own positionality, and the positionality of a unit in university, which then could be used for discussion, for a record over time even, to give as evidence for presenting to different people, and to inform decision making. Strikes me that it's Massey emphasized that time and space are very connected, and that things change. And we know that things change all the time, especially recently, last few years. So I think it can be used to kind of maybe to track progress, to look at future plans, but also just to recognize that things are going to change. It's not kind of set in stone. Everybody has a voice. Everybody has their own map. Nobody can take that map away from them. Everybody's opinions can be heard in any kind of discussions about positionality using this tool. And it's also possible to focus on different individuals, our own positionality, our own activity space, and the positionality within a university or within a department. So you can use it on different levels of space. And it activates a sociological imagination. If anybody's familiar with the book by, I can't remember his name now, but it creates something which is very creative, and it kind of helps you think about things in a different way. For example, with this lovely image, we could say, okay, this is a university. How do we get more trees growing in the university? How do we create plant more seeds? How do we make these trees grow bigger? Maybe different colours, different types of EAP activity within the university. What needs to be done to achieve that? And it can kind of create more creative kind of thought. Okay, well, that's it. I hope that's been of interest.
That's great. Thank you. Thanks so much, Sharon. That was fascinating, really interesting.
Right.
Just going to stop the recording.